Where it all started is very complex in terms of what Saturn is as an archetype, but that's where you get your word Satan from.
Okay.
But Saturn is not just what you would describe as the Lord of Darkness. Saturn also is said to be a golden Lord of Light. So keep in mind, in East Asian traditions, Saturn is associated with gold. It's associated with a higher vibratory level of earth. All of the abundance, all of the sweetness, the motherly beauty of earth, it is said that Saturn reflects that on a higher level in certain East Asian systems. Now, in Western systems, Saturn is considered a great malefic because Saturn, just like in the yogic system with Kali, represents time and how time eventually eats all things. So Saturn is said to be both a matrix generator. It creates the scaffoldings that become planets, stars, bodies, all of this. And it does that on a higher level, not as Saturn necessarily, but as a power known as Bina. But on a lower vibratory level, that power that you call Bina crystallizes, condenses in your solar system as Saturn. It's one of its manifestations. It's not its only one. People have that energy in them. The other planets have that energy in them. The power that you associate with Bina is a part of everything in certain proportions. But in Saturn, Saturn very greatly represents those powers of Bina more greatly physicalized. So it is this power that acts as a matrix generator, but also a matrix destroyer. So in many ways, it's associated with the power of the womb and also the tomb. Keep in mind as well, the power of Saturn has been used by many world religions that oftentimes have a militaristic attitude. So Saturn has also been used to accelerate conquests and to hasten that power of death. So it's as if the enemy's time shrinks and runs out. So Saturn has many life-giving properties, very divine planet, but it has been used malefically, and it has some, to humans at least, malefic qualities in that it brings things to an end. Saturn is also said to separate the lower spheres from the upper spheres. So it acts as a type of guardian. In order for one to really enter into the upper spheres, they have to overcome the archonic powers associated with Saturn, the guardians, if you will, that separate the lower planetary powers from what you call the supernal triad, the upper trinity, that represents the scaffolding of the universe. So in terms of an energy portal, Saturn represents one of the final levels a soul has to pass through. You must overcome that power. And that power represents the power of death. So in order for a soul to overcome that, they truly must be immortal. Not all souls are like this. Some souls get caught up in the orbit. Some souls can go right through it. It depends on their level of consciousness and the integrity of the energy body. Remember, if you're too different than that which you observe, it's self and other. If you are made up of the exact energies that your observed topic is made up of, you'll pass right through it, like a portal. There will be no self and other. This is why the magical practices, working with the 7 planets, working with the 5 elements, is very important. When you develop a fluency in that language, you can become the element. Therefore, not only do you gain a certain level of mastery and control over it, but you can transcend it and go into a higher level. That's the point of integrating yourself from Earth all the way up to Saturn, all the way up to the source. You're making all of these different parts of existence active within you consciously while you're alive. So when you no longer need your physical body, you can use all of them like stargates. Send yourself through the universe to wherever you desire to go. So that's a little bit about Saturn. When we talk about Saturn, we must get into some of the immortal practices, because that is not only how you transcend Saturn, but the power of Saturn is said to bestow a certain immortal blessing upon those who merge with it. Because remember, Saturn is said to be the oldest of the classical planets, the oldest of the gods, the most immortal of them all.